Welcome back to Teatorials, and thanks for joining us for week 10. The title of this tutorial is Bag versus Leaf. Of course, the wee tea company only sells loose leaf tea, but we are trying to consider the pros and cons of both. But ultimately, it's you that chooses how you brew your tea. Something that cannot be ignored is a modern day desire for quality. In cafes in particular, the rise of the espresso machine and the improvements in coffee quality have undoubtedly allowed the tea drinker to question the quality of what they are being served. The great news is that coffee shops and cafes are now paying far more attention to their tea drinking customers. Firstly, let's consider the rise of the tea bag. Like many inventions, the tea bag was apparently discovered by accident. In the early 1900s, a tea merchant from New York discovered samples of tea he had been sending out in small porous pouches were being brewed directly to the cup. His customers were supposed to empty the tea from the bag and brew in a traditional fashion. Instead, the idea of a tea bag had been born. Listening to his customers' feedback, this gave rise to the commercial production of tea bags. Here in Britain, the idea was much slower to catch on. Traditional methods continued to be employed in Britain, and as recently as the 1960s, only 3% of the British tea industry was based on sales of tea bags. As convenience and household ease have become more important, today it's more than 96%. Many changes have taken place in the tea bag industry too, from rectangle to circle to pyramid, and now of course even silk pyramids, so there are benefits with tea bags. You can easily remove the tea after it has been brewing for the right length of time. There is little mess compared to having to empty tea leaves from a pot. Unfortunately, the tea that is so often used in bags is a low-grade fannings or dust. So from a taste perspective, there really is no comparison. Modern day silk pyramids often do include larger leaf, higher quality teas, but do they have the room they need to brew well? Any tea connoisseur will argue till they are blue in the face that brewing loose leaf tea is the best way to make a proper brew. Indeed, few people we meet would argue with this. In many parts of the world, tea drinkers would never even consider using a tea bag. As we have said, it's only recently that tea bags have become so popular. Often people have a perception of brewing real tea as being messy and time-consuming. Perhaps in the past, when using teapots and strainers over the cup, there was an element of tidy up required to get the leaves from the pot. Today, the growing rise in the popularity of loose leaf tea in the world over has led to the development of brilliant brewing technologies. It is easy to get a hold of a teapot with a built-in basket. Brewing baskets for mugs are also hugely popular. You can even get traveller mugs with brewing technology built into them. Coffee shops and cafes are now recognising their customers want quality and are turning to leaf tea and efficient brewing methods as the solution. Large tea leaves, given space to open and infuse properly, will always produce the best tasting tea. Indeed, many people are reminded of what tea actually tastes like when they revert to using proper full leaves. So bags versus leaf? Bags will never win in our opinion for taste and quality. They are convenient, but with a little investment in some brewing equipment, you can go back to drinking real leaf tea all the time, and it needn't be arduous. Really, it comes down to how good a cup of tea you actually want to drink. Next week, we will discuss tea lattes and share with you some wonderful tasty recipes. We look forward to seeing you then.